13 skills everyone should master. In this video, we will share with you 13 essential skills one needs to live a fulfilling life. 1. Managing time wisely. Chances are, there will always be a point in life that you're juggling both your professional priorities and your personal priorities. Time management skills are a must if you don't want to be constantly beat. Good time management allows you to accomplish more in a shorter period of time, which leads to more freedom, which lets you take advantage of learning opportunities, lowers your stress, and helps you focus, which leads to more career success. Perhaps the most important time management lesson is that you should try doing one task at a time. According to research, multitasking is actually counterproductive because the brain uses up a lot of energy trying to readjust its focus between activities. It would also be wise to limit the number of hours spent working. Long ago, Henry Ford found that productivity began to go downhill after employees logged more than 40 hours each week. Other studies also show that 60-hour work weeks become less productive after 3 weeks. 2. Making friends in any environment. Forming relationships should be thought of as more of a skill, as opposed to leaving things to chance. This skill is even more important during the development of young adults, the moment you're off the college campus, where it's generally easy to form close friendships. One way to make friends as an adult is to trade confidences. Self-disclosure, which is revealing information about yourself to someone else, foretells liking, closeness, and relationship building, according to research. Another surprisingly simple yet effective tactic is to spend time with those you'd like to befriend. With reference to the more exposure effect, we tend to like things and people we're familiar with. 3. Sticking to a budget. A budget helps you figure out your long-term goals and work towards them. If you just drift aimlessly through life, throwing money at every pretty, shiny object that happens to catch your eye, how will you ever save up enough money to buy a car, take that trip to Europe, or put a down payment on a house? A budget forces you to map out your goals, save your money, keep track of your progress, and make your dreams a reality. Miles Feidelman, a policy analyst, systems architect, and social entrepreneur, wrote that it's amazing how many people can't do the easiest things of life, like balancing a checkbook, filling out a tax form, ensure that there's more coming in than going out, and set aside reserves for contingencies. You'd want to predict any major costs in the immediate future, like if you're planning to have a child or go back to school. It's also smart to set aside an emergency fund with several months' worth of expenses in case the unexpected happens. 4. Being comfortable with public speaking. Not everyone is going to be a great orator in their lifetime, and that's okay. However, it's important to know how to speak in public by a certain age, whether it's delivering a speech, at work, or giving a toast at a friend's wedding. Someone once wrote in a now-deleted post that the ability to speak confidently to a large mass of people is a skill to be learned. It makes a lasting impression and brings you to the notice of several people at once. If the thought of walking your colleagues through a PowerPoint gives you nightmares, there are techniques you can use to get rid of some of your worries. One particular research-based strategy is to reframe your anxiety to excitement, which can make you seem more competent and persuasive. 5. Negotiate. Negotiation skills are useful, not only in our professional lives, but are also helpful in everyday life. Learning to negotiate effectively involves acquiring a variety of relationship management skills, including communication, strategy development, persuasion, conflict resolution, decision-making, and rapport building. A number of Quora users wrote that negotiation skills are important for any expression. If you're negotiating your salary, for example, the best tactic for getting both what you want and at the same time presenting yourself as friendly is to ask for a range, including and above your targeted amount. For instance, if you're aiming for a $100,000 salary, suggest a $100,000 to $120,000 salary. Another strategy is to frame your proposal in terms of what you're offering the person, rather than what they're losing. So instead of saying, "I want $20,000 for my car," say, "I'll give you my car for $20,000. 6. Cleaning after yourself. Lots of people make the transition from being a teenager to an adult without acquiring the skill set necessary to take the cleanliness of their space seriously. Cleaning regularly does not only create a sanitary place for you to live in, but it also makes you more efficient, calmer, and happier. Basic cleaning skills include doing the dishes, laundry, cleaning the house properly, keeping the house organized and uncluttered, and maybe even a weekly and monthly cleaning routine. 7. Cook simple meals. Learning to cook will help you understand world cultures, customs, and flavors. You'll also learn life skills like eating healthy, budgeting your money, and cleaning, Nutritionist Joy McCarthy said that if you can read, you can cook, and you don't need talent because there are so many amazing cookbooks out there. Start simply with a breakfast smoothie or one dinner a week, then build up your repertoire. Though you may dream of mimicking your favorite top chef techniques, grilling a few chicken breasts and steaming broccoli is fast and nutritious. The simplest foods are the healthiest. You don't have to be Gordon Ramsay to sustain yourself or impress guests at a dinner party. Know how to cook at least 5 dishes, writes Aaron Nakana O'Quinn. They are likely to be dependent upon the culture you live in, but be able to cook at least one vegetation dish, a breakfast dish, a dish that you can serve to a group of people, a dessert, and a starch. Try to be able to do these things without a cookbook, and you'll be like a rock star wherever you go. 8. Accepting feedback gracefully. A certain Quora user, by the name Pedram Kayani, wrote that for most of us, it's hard to hear how we made a mistake or could have done something better. An amazing skill which you can learn from practice is to set aside your emotional response during that time and focus on the information being presented to you. Some of it will be valid and some of it invalid, but let your mind decide that, not your ego. There are different strategies for responding with a level head, depending on what type of feedback you're getting. If your boss, for example, points out what he or she thinks is a mistake, and you're not sure she or he is right, you can say something like, "I hadn't thought about it that way, but I'm going to look into it as soon as I can." 9. Administer First Aid. Would you have any idea what to do if someone collapsed at work? If you sprained your ankle while going out for a hike? If your child began choking at dinner? Learning basic first aid and CPR is one of those things you hope you never have to use. But in case of an emergency, first aid training can help you keep your cool, stay safe, and even save a life. Those skills you got an initial introduction to during Scouts training will save you well at some point in your life. It's important to know how to properly dress a wound, splint a broken finger, and perform the Heimlich maneuver and CPR. So, brush up on your skills, or start afresh by enrolling in a class. 10. Speak a second language. Learning a new language opens up the mind to an entirely new way of thinking. You'll notice and appreciate parts of the world you've never experienced before. The fact is, in today's increasingly interconnected and interdependent world, proficiency in other languages is a vital skill that gives you the opportunity to engage with the world in a more immediate and meaningful way, whether in your neighborhood or thousands of miles away, while better preparing you to compete and succeed in the global economy. There's also a chance that learning a new language can make you smarter, though the jury is still out on this one. Some studies suggest that being bilingual can improve cognitive skills, but more recent research doesn't agree with these claims. 11. Saying no. It's fascinating how many of us are unable to utter it, as it's such a small word. But learning how to graciously but firmly say no, without coding it with excuses or white lies, is a critical life skill. If you're that kind of person who feels guilty when they say no, or automatically says yes when someone asks you to do something, try saying, "I need to think about it" instead. That will give you more time to think through your schedule and decide whether it's something you can actually do without having the person's pleading eyes staring at you. And each time you say yes to something like working late, remember that you're also saying no to something else, like going to the gym, having dinner with the family, or having a decent bedtime. 12. Protecting your electronics. Having your phone die or your computer stolen is nerve-wracking enough. Saying goodbye to all your important information with those gadgets is even worse. Everyone who owns a device needs to know how to protect it. The first thing to do is install a good antivirus program that will automatically update and scan for infections. You need to learn how to check your antivirus and see that it's functioning properly. On a wireless PC, it's also key that you use a separate program for finding and removing spyware. Doing all these things will go a long way in protecting your electronics. 13. Invest. Everyone needs to learn how to invest. If you want to retire someday, and most people do, learning how to invest is the first step. It's the best way to build wealth over time. Investing now, whether you're hiring someone to handle your portfolio or you're doing it yourself, will save you in the long run, enabling you to multiply your money and leave you with a huge stack of cash when you're ready to retire. The key factor to remember is time. Yes, you could lose money in the short term, but you will build wealth over the long term. And that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and found value. If you did, do give us a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you're new to the channel. If there's a certain topic you guys would like to see a video on, please let us know down in the comments below. We absolutely love helping you guys out however we can. With that said, have a great day, you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.